Top 10 Unusual Connections Between Seemingly Unrelated Things. Top 10 Unusual Connections Between Seemingly Unrelated Things. Students who are already familiar with strange things know not to be surprised by unusual events. But what about cats that can make people become outstanding in business? Foreseeing death as a result of the inability to smell? These are facts, kids. Unusual links are always stumbled upon from time to time. Describing some of them can be really exciting, such as the Scooby-Doo's connection with the murder of RFK. But several others are deeply rooted in mystery and theories. In any case, the top 10 unusual pairs that exist are coming up. Number 1. Business-oriented individuals and cats. Most cats become infected with a parasite known as Toxoplasma gondii, which is popular for turning mice into easy prey by making them more daring. But for felines, they can easily infect other people with the T. gondii. Scientists are still investigating the relationship of the parasite with transformation of human behavior. Do humans also become more courageous like mice? The research investigated samples from business experts and students. The concept was to find a link between the achievers and the T. gondii parasite. Hundreds of the cases that came back positive were students who were either studying entrepreneurship or majored in business than the uninfected cases. More positive cases also started their business with several startups and less fear of collapse than the negative cases in the same industry. The figures indicate that no one becomes risk zombies, but this parasite seems to be a driving force that prompts entrepreneurs to succeed. Number 2. Famine and Daughters. Typically, the number of males given birth to is higher than females. This could be to make up for the high mortality rate common among males. However, more females are born during tough periods. Researchers are carrying out studies concerning this pattern. A team of Harvard scholars in 1973 recommended that the biology of healthy women benefits the female. The research indicates that during a famine, the number of healthy males that become fathers is reduced, but this ill health does not affect the rate of reproduction of women. If the famine lasts up to a generation, more grandchildren are guaranteed by these baby girls. Alternatively, men only flourish and have more opportunities to become fathers during good times. This deduction was supported by factual famines. 30 million individuals died of malnutrition during China's communist Great Leap Forward. More daughters were conceived during this period, even 2 years after the famine. However, the gender of a baby is not determined by hunger. That's the responsibility of the chromosomes. Then, how do we explain what is happening? It seems that starvation causes instability in the blood sugar level of mothers, which causes a significant loss in the male fetuses. This is why more females are conceived during difficult times. Number 3. The Murder of RFK and ScoobyDoo. Popular morning cartoons such as Tom and Jerry lost their popularity in the 1960s. Violent scenes included in the scenes are now added to the effect. Needless to say, kids enjoyed this new science fiction cartoon, since they are full of violence and action round the clock. In 1969, the series of the first Scooby-Doo was broadcasted. A franchise that existed till date was crafted by these 4 teens and their speaking Great Dane. But do you know that it was the murder of Senator Robert F. Kennedy that triggered the popularity of this famous hound? But considering the science fiction cartoon that was broadcasted before the popularity of Scooby-Doo, several anti-violence agencies campaigned against them, although the support of the society was required to eliminate them. The intensity of the Vietnam War and the likes for the general public presented another opportunity. Alongside the murder of RFK, as well as the prevalent fear of the moral corrupting event, which doesn't include the television shows. These advocates received support due to the rising figures of cartoons with the belief that the Kennedys wanted cartoons to be packed with scenes that were less violent, which was valid. The networks had to surrender sci-fi or comedy programs to avoid reactions from the public. But they still require a cartoon that can attract kids, which birthed Scooby-Doo. Kids fell in love with the spooky investigations of the team, which the activists had no reason to complain about. The personalities were never in any form of danger, despite their encounters with the monsters. Number 4. Pain medications and empathy. Acetaminophen is usually consumed by about 52 million Americans every week. This pain medication, with over 600 ingredients, contained Tylenol and is sold as such. A disturbing adverse effect was discovered in 2016 that people's empathy towards others appears to reduce the consumption of acetaminophen. An examination was carried out where respondents consumed the highest dosage permitted for a day. Afterward, they read stories about people encountering physical and emotional difficulties. Then, they monitored how intense the respondents reacted to the suffering. Respondents who consumed the pill believed the victims experienced a difficult period of it. A second examination also discovered that the respondents who consumed the acetaminophen felt less compassion for themselves. They were kept in a room with very loud music, and without any doubt, the less sympathetic group were told were those who consumed the placebo. Apart from feeling less empathy for themselves, they also strongly believed that others won't appreciate the experience. However, the connection of the drug with empathy is not entirely known. Number 5. Beards and punches. The beards are also among the Charles Darwin evolutionary hypothesis. He indicated that beards did not meet any requirement. However, beards seem to be more useful than what Darwin speculated. There seems to be a solid connection between a fist fight and the beard, or probably getting hit with a stick in the face. As a matter of fact, the male gender seem to have advanced to cover their face during a fist fight. Beards must also have a significant role to play since the bone structure also serves as a shield. This concept was examined using a human-like structure with a beard. Some part of the head was covered with sheepskin, like a completely grown wool, to imitate the beard. The skin on the other was sheared to prove the beard serves as protection, while the remaining had a bald skin, those with bare chins. Researchers began to hit the skulls using a stick. It was discovered that 95% of sheared skin in every of the bald-skinned faces was damaged severely. Only about 45% of the bearded faces were damaged. This reveals that the beard in one way serves as a protection, but the unanswered question still remains about how. Without any doubt, a thick beard can easily absorb and disperse a punch over a large area. Number 6. Poor test scores and additional homework. The main purpose of homework is to solidify the teachings of the classroom. Students in the U.S. are usually given about an average of 3.5 hours worth of homework every day. Funny enough, children seem to unlearn what was taught in the classroom due to this workload. In 2016, more than 7,700 adolescents were studied in Spain. The objective of the study was to measure the academic performance of these students against the time invested in their assignments. Most students having 1 hour of homework were discovered to perform better in their test, but adding an additional 40 minutes to their assignments saw a drop in their performance. But things have gone beyond expecting better performance by limiting the time spent on homework. Many other factors are in play. Teenagers who had better performance spent extra days on homework than their counterparts, and others who received parental assistance also had a worse result. Apparently, an hour of consistent and focused effort every day without external help is the solution for better test performance. Number 7. Left-handedness and bottle feeding. This gene is usually responsible for the dominant hand of every individual. Other reason behind the right or left-handedness remains unknown. Researchers decided to monitor about 60,000 mothers right from the day they gave birth. An unusual event that occurred once these mothers gave birth was that bottle feeding birthed a lot of left-handed kids. This somehow happened when these infants were bottle fed before they became 6 months old. However, right-handed kids were those who were breastfed consecutively throughout this period. These findings did not shed light on the mystery, but it reveals that bottle feeding Junior might be the major factor influencing his left-handedness. Number 8. Low IQ and pseudoprofam statements. Pseudoprofam statements are expressions that are lacking any meaning but appear wise and deep. For instance, well-being demands exploration. To traverse, the mission is to combine with it. Irrespective of the vagueness of this expression, several individuals are easily convinced that it holds exciting truth. Recently, an experiment discovered that some random generator creating fake statements were caught at the face value. The scientists tried to understand the reason respondents were usually caught up with cliches that lack sense by using these wise-sounding statements as bait. This can also clarify the reason similar individuals are usually uninterested with factual topics, like medicine and science. The research discovered a deplorable connection. The respondents received a comprehensive examination for intelligence, and those who performed poorly frequently get caught up with these cliches. Also, these respondents will probably back up unwarranted alternative medicines and conspiracy theories. Number 9. Foul mood and higher productivity. When feelings of depression and emotional anger set in, a possible benefit is a completed list of tasks. This applies to several individuals who usually give up or perform poorly when having dark feelings. However, for a specific few, they seem to become more concentrated and efficiently manage their time whenever their crabbiness goes overboard. This improved performance only serves those who usually hang on to foul emotions. Alternatively, individuals who brief emotional connections will likely become less productive when having a dark feeling. Also, they might not become more productive when feeling at their best. This response could be frustratingly mundane. The performance of grumpy individuals can be boosted by negative emotions as opposed to others, since this feeling has become a part of them. They are not usually distracted by this feeling, as opposed to individuals who only experience lesser bad days that end up driving them off course. Number 10. Death and sense of smell. There is a worrying connection between the inability to smell a flower or any other thing and passing away in the next 10 years or less. This red flag is common in aged individuals. Parkinson's disease and dementia have been discovered to be the underlying factor of about 28% of cases, as these illnesses can disable the sense of smell in an individual. The remaining 72% still had no justifiable explanation. No one could clearly explain the reason that their sense of smell became inactive or their lifespan was dramatically reduced. The odd part is that this theory can accurately predict death whenever these elderly individuals start showing these signs. Thank you so much for watching this video. You made it this far, so why not click the like button and subscribe?